Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Dubai Sevens. This one, France versus Australia. These two sides have a little bit of a seesaw in terms of their recent head-to-heads, but overall it's going to be an outstanding game. France peaking at the right time after losing to South Africa in their first contest. They went on and they dominated up against Argentina, getting the big win in their last contest as well to book themselves a spot through to this final, or semi-final, I should say, and they would love nothing more than to meet either New Zealand or Fiji. In the final for the Australians, they had a close game up against the Kiwis, and of course they'd love to get that one back. On the women's side of the draw, we've already seen it be New Zealand versus Australia for that final. Perhaps it could be the same on the men's side as well. But looking through at the starting lineups, first of all for the Australians, it is captain Henry Hutchinson in the starting side, alongside Ikanayake, Jaden Blake, Wallace Charlie, Josh Turner, Maurice Longbottom, and also Dietrich Roach slotting in there as the last man. And the side for the French, it is Zedar, Andy Timo, Pauline Riva, the captain of the side, Artaud, Paul Silgaze, and then Jordan Sefo and Delamere, last man in the team. But overall, Australia, they are sitting 2 wins from their 3. The only loss is to the New Zealanders. They were able to beat Spain by 7 and Great Britain by, I believe it was the 9. And then France, they had that first loss, but then coming back with a 59-7 win over the Argentines and also beating the Fijians. They'll feel confident heading into that final if they can just get past this part of the equation, which is, of course, being able to beat the Australians in this one. But referee in charge of this one will be Nick Hogan, his 140th match in charge of the Sevens, the Kiwi, ready to go for this contest. Do, of course, let me know your score predictions in the comments down below as the New Zealand versus Fiji match is happening just around the corner as well. We're jumping straight over to that stream at the end of this match, but we are ready to go in this matchup. And the ball, it was initially going to be retained by France off the kickoff, but it is going to be knocked on and actually awarding the penalty to the Australians here. We'll get that scoreboard ticking over. We are on the manual job today, which does mean that at times it will be completely wrong, but we will do our absolute best to keep it close to correct. Quick tap taken by the Australians, 40 metres out from their own try line. Maurice Longbottom going back across to the right. Kanayaki with the wide cutout pass into the hands of Wallace Charlie, who does look like a very athletic winger. Got plenty of speed from what we've seen throughout this competition as well. Kanayaki has to play halfback, goes across to Maurice Longbottom. They're currently 22 metres out from their own line here, the Australians. France looking to get the steal on the breakdown. 2 men going past it, and actually Artaud has ended up getting in there and managing to get the steal. In fact, they've decided France, they did have 2 men in front of that breakdown. Australia to win 24 points to 5. Says Big Rig picking France, but this seems a toss-up between all 4 teams. Yeah, honestly, it could go any way from these 4 top sides. France, they were in an extremely tough group with Fiji, Argentina, as well as the South Africans. So there was no easy match throughout it. So the fact that they were able to get themselves through to this next stage, it was down to that bonus point that they got in the first game and also that massive victory up against the Argentines. Australia better win, says Krish. And there as well. Now ready to throw this ball in. Oh, Maurice Longbottom. Looks like Australia going to target the back of the line out. Nicely taken by Aiden Ikanayaki. Now Turner. Dietrich Roach slings it back across to the short side. Maurice Longbottom, little grubber attempted in mind. I don't think he's quite struck that one the way that he would have liked. There was a tackle on the ground from Longbottom. Could have been the penalty against the Aussies, but the ball back in the hands now of the French. Pauline Riva going across to the right-hand side. No Stephen Perez-Martin in the starting lineup, but there is a Jordan Sefo who tries to get rid of Wallace Charlie, who makes a very strong tackle, dragging down Les Bleus, sitting 25 metres from their own line. Another step in the middle. Flick pass out the back to Pauline Riva. Draw and pass. Nicely done by France to open up some space for Artaud. Looks like a stagnant run now from Artaud. Hit on the wrong side from Dietrich Roach. Now, trying to go for that clean out in the breakdown. That was just cleanly off his feet there. And it is going to be the knock-on actually against the Australians. They have got Jaden Blake who's putting the pressure on in this breakdown. Neither side looking like they're going to be budging the early stages of this match. I also think that the breakdown at the moment, we have seen it maybe not as strictly policed. Now, we see it there straight in off his feet for Jaden Blake. Could have easily been the penalty to the French. And it is now going to be the scrum feed for France instead due to the knock-on. Sacre bleu, says Big Rig there. Currently 3 minutes have already passed in the semi-final between the two sides. So, we're going to have another scrum reset. This one 42 metres out from the French line. They haven't really had an attacking chance inside of Australia's half, or at least not a very long one, but they've got plenty of talent across this starting 7 off of the bench. Some fantastic players there too. Stephen Perez-Martin, Dezay, Mignot is also there. Now big push. Oh, and a tackle made by Maurice Longbottom too early. So it is going to be offside against Australia. Can't escape scrum resets, even in the sevens. Airruck's quite a free-for-all in Dubai this week, says Studs Race. And yeah, you just wonder which game is going to be the one that that breakdown is going to be heavily policed. It's either going to be New Zealand versus Fiji or probably the final, I would say. Depending on who is going to be refereeing. But yeah, Maurice Longbottom just a little bit too quick with his tackle on our toe. Got himself offside. Now thrown in, almost stolen. Yes, it is from Australia at line-out time, but awkward bouncing ball. Josh Turner pops it up to Dietrich Roach. Only sitting just inside of their own half. Great bit of work in the breakdown from France. Surely that is going to be their turnover. No, it is called as a release from the referee. Now Josh Turner across to the right-hand side. Passed across from Charlie. Big collision with Andy Timo. Trying to go for a bit of a counter ruck himself, but Charlie does well in the breakdown, going off to the left-hand side. Matthew Carley being flown in for the final as we speak now. Henry Hutchison cutting back inwards past the Maurice Longbottom. Bit of a late shot on Hutchison there as well. Big fend from Charlie. Great defence from both of these sides, but Akaniake gets it on the outside. There was a bit of space for the youngster Jaden Blake, but it slips through his fingertips as the ball goes into touch. This game going nowhere at the moment in terms of the scoreboard, but it's been all over the field for the first 5 minutes of this semi-final. Just kidding, I'm a Carly fan, says the Thuds raised there. Imagine Wallabies versus New Zealand. The finals for both men and women. It can 100% happen. At this point in time, Australia, I want to say they came in as slight favourites for this match, but I could be wrong there. It might have actually been more so 50-50 for these two teams. Thrown in, and it's nicely taken by Andy Timo. Back across to the right. Now Pauline River tries to step, goes to our toe. He's trying to sneak his way through. 35 metres out, Zedar. Referee does very well to dodge that ball. Now trying to sneak through, but a big driving tackle again. And that was on Delamere. And the side really budging. Zedar, though, gets the offload. Delamere going towards the corner. Thought about the offload, can't get it away. Australia making the crucial tackle. Ball is going to be stolen, but it's going to be a penalty to Australia. How's that happened? Not releasing penalty goes against the French, even though Australia did rip it out of his hands and actually ended up knocking it on. I assume they're saying that the reason he knocked it on was because of no release. But through two men there, Zadar with a big aggressive run. You're going to see the replay now. How much did Delamere affect this ball on the ground? It was there. Yeah, no, he did try and grab that one just a little bit more. How's it still 0-0? Neither of these sides budging. Been a close game at the moment. Ready to throw it in. Maurice Longbottom. Okay, he's been told to hurry up. Got the warning from Nick Hogan. Going to the front of that line out. Someone smeared butter all over the ball. Well, it hasn't even been that many handling errors. It's just been both sides have cancelled each other out quite well. Now passed on the outside. This is where it could get dangerous. Wallace Charlie. He's got such an electric step on him, but he is tackled by Les Bleus. And the penalty again awarded to Australia. That is for not rolling away against Pauline River. They were still holding him in after the penalty was awarded the Aussies. So this is one of the, I don't want to say dirtier games we've seen from the Aussies. Oh, great kick in behind from Maurice Longbottom. Needs to bounce. Oh, it avoids him though. And I believe he knocked it on. Looks like they're going to say play on though. No, now they've found the knock on, and that is going to be half-time in this contest. 0-0 between these two sides. Neither budging, but plenty more fun action coming in the second half of this contest. But 0-0. Could go either way. I will mention if it is a draw at full time, we do go to golden point time. Someone score already. Says Jasmine, this game going to end at 0-0 at this point, although they would have to go to golden point time if that was the case. Yeah, we'll wait and see. It seems like neither side are going anywhere. There's been some great attacking chances. Zidara's probably had the best run alongside, I would say, Maurice Longbottom for that grubber in behind. He just needed the ball to sit up, and it didn't. I think it's the best way to describe it. It just would not end up popping. Now, second half. Will anyone be able to score themselves a try? I hope that they do. I don't really want a golden point because then I have to rearrange that next stream or reschedule it for a little bit later. What if no one scores in golden point? Then they do keep on going, and then eventually they go to a kickoff, I believe. Does anyone pick a 3-0 score, drop goal from 40 metres, their studs race? Honestly, at this point, one of these two sides, like Australia have probably been awarded 5 penalties or so throughout that first half. So if any of them are inside of the French half and we're later on in the contest, perhaps we will see them go to the chance. Do they have golden point in the pool matches? I'm not sure if they still have it in the pool matches. Someone said that they just award them as draws now, but this one being the semi-final, they would end up going to that golden point. Aussie, says Akta there. But yeah, whoever wins this game, they will be going head-to-head up against New Zealand or Fiji. They will have their match just around the corner. Oi, says Dale. In there too. We're just getting an ad for the A-League at the moment. 3-0, scoreline that you see in football every once in a while, but 3-0 could be the end score in this matchup. And George Ford is into the chat, says Big Rig. He'd love this type of situation, needing some sort of points later on. In fact, I think GB would take a few of those English players if they could. So imagine if all the pools were 0-all. I think that someone would be very upset. In fact, I think that many people would be upset because they'd have to then go, right, we have to change the system. Because I wonder whether or not maybe rankings would come into it in that case. France, we. Says Thuds race, but it's going to be kicked off by the Australians. Next try could almost win this game. The only try could win this game, but kicked off by the Aussies. And Zidane manages to slap it back onto the side of France. To the left-hand side. Toe passes on to Andy Timo. So it seems like it's in slow motion at times out there on the field, and that was a little bit similar to what we did see in the match for Japan and New Zealand. Seems like the turf is actually a little bit maybe dense, or the boots are sticking a bit. They don't seem to quite be able to get that same acceleration that you normally see, but it's great turnover there for the Australians. Aiden Akaniaki looking for the steal, and that is going to be one of the first penalties awarded to France in this contest. Pauline Riva. So maybe a bit of an injury here for Dietrich Roche. He doesn't look too happy. What's up, gents and ladies? Welcome in, Xander. You are doing very well. We currently know that South Africa will be playing Spain. Spain in the 5th place playoff game. We know in the women's final it will be New Zealand versus Australia. I've got there. Australia have only made the cup final twice in Dubai, 2014, 2022. So now that we've mentioned that one, it's probably going to be a France try coming in the very near future. And they move it away to the right-hand side. Great low tackle made by Henry Hutchinson. Locks over the ball and gets the clean steal for the Australians. That's the type of play that can win you this type of matchup. Now, rough pass and behind from Maurice Longbottom. Cleaned up, though. Josh Turner looking to go on the outside to Henry Hutchinson again. Low tackle made once more. Across to the right. Skip pass or rush defence on Wallace Charlie. Looks for the offload. Almost picked up by France, but Charlie fights for a little knock on from Pauline Riva. 5 minutes left and still no tries in this contest. Oh. Okay, no, I thought the referee was awarding a penalty there, but he was just blowing the whistle for the subs to be made by Henry Hutchinson, just swooping around after making the tackle to get that crucial steal. Stopped any chance of a French attack. Wonder who it's going to be. There's got to be a super sub, someone who makes their way off the bench here to win the game for their side. And no way it's actually going to end 9. Says Chris, and someone is going to crack and give up 2 minutes or 2 tries in a minute. Says Studs Race. We have good there. Fun fact, you can drive from to Dubai from France. That is a very fun fact. Be a long drive though, wouldn't it? It would be a good few hours. Now 5 minutes remaining on the clock. We haven't seen a Steven Perez-Martin make his way out onto the field as of yet. He could be a game changer for this French team. In terms of the Aussies, they've got the likes of a Ben Dalton. They've got Ethan McFarlane. He's known for having a little bit of toe, bit of pace. Dietrich Roche tackled by Pauline Riva. It's a good one made again by France, keeping that pressure on. And now the Aussies only a few metres out from their own line. This is where they need someone like a Henry Patterson as well. He's a bit of a game changer. Nathan Lawson, they're actually missing quite a few, but now here it comes, a big run. I believe that is going to be one of the young replacements. Now Josh Turner goes across Australia, bit of a rough pass, but now cleaned up again. Going to try and feed it on the outside. I believe this is going to be William Cartwright now. Going to cut back in. He goes straight through. Liam Cartwright scores the all-important try. Oh, he put it down with one hand. That's a risky tactic there. 68 hours, says Google. That'll be a decent drive. I have a feeling that Australia are going to snatch this win last minute. Oh, they've got themselves the first try now. But Cartwright getting through, and it has been the impact off of the bench for the Australians here. That has been the game-changing moment. Straight between the posts as well, so a nice easy 7, which could be crucial as we've seen a lot of kicks missed throughout this Dubai Sevens competition. But yeah, Cartwright going in, he was celebrating it before he even got to the ground. And that one's gone over from Dietrich Roach. 7-0 for the Australians now. And AU says Dale Baker there, and finally says Krish. Although the thing is, we've still got 4 minutes left, so we could see another 3 or so tries throughout this period of time. Depending on what happens, we could see France now get themselves one back, and then we'll be back to a level playing field for the final minute or two. Dietrich Roach taking his time here, using up as many seconds as he can. Can't take too many though, or else he will get himself into a free kick situation. The media here is solely focused on Eben. Nothing really about the scoreline. If I read the words eye gouge again, I might puke. Says Xander. Yeah, I have recorded my Springboks versus Wales review, and I did try my best to only mention about that part of it after praising what had happened throughout the rest of the game, because that's the thing, 73-0 is a massive win for the Boks, but it's been overshadowed by what happened at the end of that game. Fiji versus New Zealand semi-final 2, says Rekka, and yeah, that one just around the corner. Whoever wins that game will face the winner of this one. That looked like a 4 pass from Hutchinson, and it's a knock-on anyway out wide from Ben Dalton. Which is a shame because the Boks played super well, absolutely. So yeah, I kind of, I might get a bit of stick for how I've done it, but I did try and look at the positives of that game first and then look at that situation in the last kind of couple minutes of the review. I don't know when I'm going to edit it, though. It's been absolutely hectic today. Oh, nice. Well, what's your review, says Xander? Yeah, hopefully it will go up. I want to say by like 1 a.m. New Zealand time, somewhere around there. I still have to finish off the editing, depending on who makes it to the final. Will depend on how many previews and whatnot we have to do for these matches too. But that is going to be a not straight throw from the French. Double blow of the whistle, and it looks like they are going to call for the subs now. Harry Wilson. He's going to make his way onto the field. Now, that is not the Harry Wilson that some would think it is. And the scenario, it is actually a different Harry Wilson. Fun fact. But now, they are just going to be making those switches there for the Aussies. This is a good position to be at the moment, having that lead by as much as they do have. I've just seen there New Zealand are considered $3 underdogs up against the Fijians. That could be a bit of a pick-em game. Harry Wilson the second. And then we've got Ronnie there too. Now ball's going to be fed to McGregor. Off to the left. 2.5 minutes remaining. Roach waits for that one. And he all but goes through the gap. A great defence again from this French side. A lot of pressure coming on. Look close to a knock-on, but I believe it went backwards off Turner. Now Henry Hutchinson tries to pierce through. And there is going to be the penalty for offside against the French. I've got there Connor, not quite, James McGregor. No relation that I know of. But now, 2 minutes left. Australia looking to close out some more time off of the clock. I've just realised I am the scoreboard today, so I will quickly update that as well to say the 13 minutes, which is what we are just about up to in this contest. Going off to the right-hand side. Skip pass now for Australia. Another chance for William Cartwright after scoring the first and only try. And yeah, how's Australia in sevens? Top tier, are also lower in rankings. They're normally about 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there, around those kind of midways. I'm now looking for the steal. Going off to the right-hand side as a knock-on, but goes back for another penalty against France. That's about their 7th or 8th against them. Is Antoine Dupont playing here? He is not, no. But they have got Steven Perez-Martin, who is actually, in my opinion, yes, Dupont got all the credit last year, or the year prior when the Olympics was. When was it? It was last year, wasn't it? But I do think that Steven Perez-Martin was quite workhorse for this French side. Off to the right-hand side here for Australia. 1 minute left on the clock. Could we see a drop kick attempted here by the Aussies if they get themselves the penalty advantage, perhaps? Henry Hutchinson goes back across to the left-hand side. Josh Turner now on the outside to Harry Wilson. The second, as he is now referred to. Apparently now Hutchinson plays it, goes back to Dietrich Roach. Australia struggling to find a gap in this defence. Oh, he was almost through again, but a great ankle tap on Ben Dalton. I feel like I'm just going for both sides in this scenario. William Cartwright gets himself another try though, and that will win the game for the Australians here. French are being pretty dirty, silly lad, says Big Rig in there as well, but that will be the victory for the Australians. They will book themselves a spot through to the final to take on the winner of Fiji versus New Zealand. Is there a chance that we do see men and women, New Zealand versus Fiji, as the matches in the final for Dubai? We're going to update that. I have got full time there. It's not actually full time, but it's like 20 seconds away, so we are very close to the end. Double congrats to the Aussies, says Big Rig in there. Great vision there, saw the space, took it without hesitation. Yeah, he's got tons of pace too. That kick has gone over, and that is the end of the game. 14-0 victory for the Australians. But nonetheless, we're popping over to Fiji versus New Zealand now. Anyone who is new, be sure, of course, to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for that next one.